Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are breaking down a deadly militant assault that has shaken Iran's Sistan Balochestan province, a remote but strategically critical region that had long lived on the edge of instability. This attack did not happen in isolation. It is part of a deeper story involving geography, politics, security failures, and long-running tensions that continue to shape the future of this volatile area. Sistan Balochestan lies in southeastern Iran, bordering Pakistan and Afghanistan. It is one of the country's poorest provinces, despite its vast size and critical location. The region has struggled for decades with underdevelopment, weak infrastructure, and limited economic opportunity, creating conditions where unrest can grow and militant groups can operate. The recent assault targeted security personnel and government-linked facilities, sending shockwaves through the province and far beyond its borders. Initial reports described coordinated attacks, gunfire, and explosions that unfolded rapidly, leaving casualties and triggering an immediate security lockdown. Iranian authorities moved quickly to seal off the affected areas. Roads were blocked, communication was restricted, and security forces were deployed in large numbers. Officials described the assault as a terrorist act aimed at destabilizing the region and sending a political message. What makes Sistan Balochestan especially vulnerable is its geography. The rugged terrain, long desert borders, and porous crossings make surveillance and control extremely difficult. Smuggling routes crisscross the province, used for drugs, fuel, weapons, and human trafficking, creating a shadow economy that militant groups often exploit. Militant activity in the region is not new. Armed groups have carried out attacks against Iranian security forces for years, often claiming to represent local grievances. These groups accuse Tehran of political exclusion, economic neglect, and cultural repression, while the Iranian state accuses them of terrorism and foreign-backed destabilization. This latest assault appears to have been carefully planned. Attackers reportedly knew their targets and timing, striking in a way designed to maximize impact and visibility. The goal was not only to cause casualties, but also to project strength and undermine the perception of state control. The human cost of the attack is significant. Families lost loved ones, communities were thrown into fear, and daily life in nearby towns came to a sudden halt. Schools closed, markets emptied, and residents stayed indoors as security forces searched for suspects. Iranian officials condemned the attack in strong terms, promising swift retaliation and justice. Statements emphasized national unity and warned that those responsible would face severe consequences. At the same time, authorities urged citizens to remain calm and cooperate with security measures. Beyond the immediate violence, this assault raises deeper questions about Iran's internal security strategy. Despite heavy military presence in Sistan Balochistan, attacks continue to occur, suggesting that force alone has not resolved the underlying issues. The province's population is ethnically and culturally distinct from Iran's Persian majority. Many residents are Sunni Muslims in a predominantly Shia country, adding a sectarian dimension to political and social tensions. While most locals reject violence, feelings of marginalization can create space for extremist narratives. Economic hardship is another critical factor. Unemployment rates in Sistan Balochistan are among the highest in Iran. Limited access to education, healthcare, and public services has fueled frustration, particularly among young people with few prospects for the future. Militant groups often exploit these grievances, presenting themselves as defenders of local rights. They use propaganda to frame attacks as resistance, even though civilians and local communities frequently suffer the most from the violence. Regional dynamics also play a role. The province's borders connect it to areas of Pakistan and Afghanistan that have their own security challenges. Cross-border movement of militants and weapons complicates Iran's efforts to fully control the situation. Tehran has repeatedly accused foreign intelligence services and regional rivals of supporting militant groups in Sistan Balochestan. While such claims are difficult to independently verify, they reflect Iran's belief that the violence is part of a broader geopolitical struggle. The timing of the assault is also notable. It comes amid heightened regional tensions and internal pressures within Iran, including economic strain from sanctions and ongoing debates over domestic governance. Attacks like this amplify a sense of vulnerability at a critical moment. In response, Iranian security forces launched counter-operations, conducting raids and increasing patrols across the province. Checkpoints multiplied and surveillance was intensified in both urban and rural areas. However, heavy security measures can have unintended consequences. While they may disrupt militant networks, they can also deepen resentment among ordinary residents if not paired with meaningful social and economic reforms. Local leaders and community elders have called for a balanced approach, urging the government to address development gaps while maintaining security. They argue that long-term stability cannot be achieved through force alone. Internationally, the attack has drawn attention to a region that rarely makes global headlines. Analysts see Sistan Balochestan as a key indicator of Iran's internal cohesion and its ability to manage diversity within its borders. For neighboring countries, instability in the province is a serious concern. Violence can spill across borders, disrupt trade routes, and exacerbate already fragile security situations in surrounding areas. The media coverage of the assault highlights another challenge. In regions with limited access to independent reporting, information often comes from official statements or fragmented local accounts, making it difficult to fully understand what happened on the ground. Social media played a significant role in spreading news of the attack, with images and reports circulating rapidly. While this increased awareness, it also led to misinformation and rumors, complicating the public response. For residents of Sistan Balochistan, the attack reinforces a harsh reality. Many feel caught between militant violence and heavy-handed security responses, with little control over the forces shaping their lives. The psychological impact should not be underestimated. Repeated attacks create an atmosphere of constant fear, eroding trust and disrupting normal life. Children grow up accustomed to checkpoints and sirens, while families worry about safety every day. From a strategic perspective, the assault signals that militant groups in the region remain capable of striking despite security pressure. This raises concerns about potential future attacks and the risk of escalation. Iran's leadership faces difficult choices. Doubling down on military action may provide short-term deterrence, but without addressing root causes, the cycle of violence is likely to continue. Development initiatives could play a crucial role. Investment in infrastructure, education, and employment opportunities may reduce the appeal of militancy and strengthen local support for stability. Dialogue with community leaders is another key element. Inclusive governance and respect for cultural differences could help bridge the gap between the state and local populations. The attack also fits into a broader global pattern where marginalized regions become hotspots for insurgency. Similar dynamics can be seen in other parts of the world, where neglect and repression fuel cycles of violence. As investigations continue, questions remain about who planned the assault, how the attackers moved, and whether warning signs were missed. The answers will shape Iran's next steps in the province. For now, life in Sistan Balochestan continues under heightened security. The immediate threat may pass, but the underlying challenges remain unresolved. This assault is not just a security incident. It is a reminder of the complex layers of identity, economics, and politics that define Iran's southeastern frontier. Understanding this context is essential for grasping why such attacks happen and why preventing them is so difficult. Simplistic explanations ignore the deeper realities on the ground. As the region moves forward, the choices made by both the government and local communities will determine whether Sistan Balochestan remains trapped in a cycle of violence or begins a path toward lasting stability. The world will be watching closely, not only for Iran's response, but for signs that meaningful change is possible in one of the country's most challenging regions. This story is far from over, and its implications extend well beyond the borders of a single province. Thank you for staying with us as we continue to break down the events shaping our world.